Week 7 brings us to Fred Brown Stadium in Defiance, Ohio, as the 1-5 Bulldogs try to upset the undefeated Redskins. Next on TSC Touchdown Friday. Welcome, everybody, inside Fred Brown Stadium, and welcome inside the Minster Bank pregame show. My name is Eli Alvarez, and I will be on the call for this Week 7 matchup between the Redskins and the Bulldogs. Let's take a look at the visiting team first. The Redskins, Walpakoneta, 6-0 on the season. Last week, coming off of a win against Salina, 35-14 was the final there. The visiting player to watch for the Redskins, number 23, the explosive running back, Cameron Locke. He is someone they definitely want to get going quick. Looking at the home team, the Bulldogs, Defiance, 1-5 on the season. Lost to OG last week, 33-6, a tough one. They're looking to rebound tonight. Their player to watch tonight is the quarterback, number 10, Alex Gonzalez, and he is someone who hasn't had a stellar season to this point, but is looking to get things going right here and right now. Let's look at our keys to the game first for the visiting Redskins. Their first key of the game is to get Locke going. They really want to establish a ground game, a running game early and often in this game. Their second key of the game is to score early and often. Of course, if you want to get your ground game going, you want it to work. And their final key of the game is to force 3 and outs on the defensive end. Looking at the home team, Defiance, they want to try to match their the superior line play of the Redskins. That is their first key of the game. Their second is they must slow down the potent offense, especially Locke. And their third key of the game is to eliminate turnovers and penalties. Real quick, looking at the coaches, let's look at second-year coach Travis Moyer. He's doing a great job with the Redskins, obviously taking over for Coach Fry. He's been stellar to this point, undefeated so far. They're looking to capture the second WBL title under his reign. And the Defiance coach, Jerry Beauty. He's a legend around the WBL parts. So let's just take a look at his coaching history real quick. He graduated from Findlay University in '77 and spent 11 years at Van Wert High School. He was an assistant for 4 years from '77 to '81, and then the head coach for 7 from '82 to '88, where he led the Cougars to a 42-27-1 record with playoff appearances in '85 and '86 and winning the WBL championship in '87. Then he moved on to Findlay High School, where he had the school's first winning record in 4 years with a 6-4 record. And then he's been here at Defiance for 25 years now, and he has a record of 163 and 103. That gives him a total of a 33-year record as a head coach of 211 to 134 with 1 tie. An amazing coach, and he's coming to the end of his career. People don't know if he'll be around next year, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see, but definitely a legend in the coaching around the WBL and around this area of Ohio. That's going to do it for the Minster Bank pregame show. We'll be back with the first half kickoff right after this. Welcome, everybody, back inside Fred Brown Stadium here in Defiance, Ohio. So it is Week 7, and it's a matchup between the 1-5 Bulldogs and the undefeated Redskins as the band marches off the field. We're about ready to get things underway. Defiance did win the toss, and they elected to receive. They will be kicking to start the second half. So that means we will see the quarterback, number 10, Alex Gonzalez, on first for the Bulldogs offense. On to kick, of course, is number 34, Tristan Myers, the man getting looks at from colleges like Purdue. Back to receive for the Bulldogs, we have number 23, Jordan Scott. So this is going to be a game that will be very crucial for both teams. On one side of the field, the Bulldogs do not want to go down big early because they know how high explosive this offense can be. And Wapak wants to close this game early because they know that this is a weaker Bulldogs team than they've seen in the past, and they want to capitalize on that and get an easy win and put their backups in early in this ball game to avoid injury for the rest of the season to come. So the ball is fielded at the 5-yard line, and falling down, of course, is number 23, as we mentioned, Jordan Scott, who fielded it, they're going to say, at about the 6-yard line. So number 10 now marches onto the field for the Bulldogs, and that is Alex Gonzalez, the senior quarterback, standing at 6 foot, 160 pounds. So hopefully Coach Beauty has got his offense ready for this powerful defense of Wapak as they're ready for their first play of the game. And Gonzalez is lined up in the shotgun, and he will hand the ball off. And that is Cole Clennon with the carry there. So the first play goes nowhere for the Bulldogs. They're set up on their second down, once again in shotgun, spread out. 4 wide receivers in the formation. Gonzalez passes, and it's going to be enough for a first down and some more. A gain all the way to the 30-yard line for the Bulldogs. And that was the kick returner on that one, Jordan Scott. And that's a big play early for this Bulldogs offense. They've been looking to get things going early, and they might be able to do that. You know, this is the WBL. We've talked about it. Anything can happen. Last week we saw our first Game Face Ohio production with a loss this season as St. Mary's fell to Bath, and that was an upset in itself. Maybe we're looking at another one here as Scott is targeted again and completed down around the 38-yard line this time. But as we were saying, the WBL, so unpredictable. Teams like Defiance can beat teams like Wapak because this conference is one of the major power conferences in the state of Ohio. All the teams are pretty much good all the way around. You know, a team like Defiance, they could do a lot better than 1-5 in other conferences. But unfortunately, they are the WBL, and they are 1-5. But here's their chance to show how good they are tonight against the powerhouse of the Redskins, as that was targeted. Scott was targeted once again, and it looks like it is enough for a first down based on where they give the spot. So that'll give Defiance, well, looks like they're going to bring out, nope, my first slot was right. They are going to move the chains. So that will give Defiance their second first down of the night, and they're still on their first drive. This is not something Wapak's defense was looking for, and one of their keys to the game, as we mentioned early, was to make sure that they get plenty of 3 and outs, and it's not happened so far to this point. So Gonzalez once again in the shotgun formation, and he's going to pitch it. And it's going to get up to around the 40, looks like a 44-yard line, maybe the 43-yard line. And once again, that was Cole Clayland with the carry there. So Gonzalez now, they come out, and the Bulldogs have 4 wide receivers to the right or to the far side of the field. Let's see what they set up here. 5 in the formation, and this is a quick pass to the left side of the field that is stopped short of the first down. And that's Abram Smith with the reception there. Real quick, let's take a look at the offensive line for the Bulldogs. At tackle, Cameron Lane. The other tackle, Tom Hellman. The guard, Marco Calstino. And the center position, Cole Allman. The other guard, Mitch Glassford. And Gonzalez, and intended once again for number 44, Smith, falls incomplete. Let's look at the skill players real quick for the Bulldogs, starting at the wide receivers position. Austin Leininger, Jordan Scott, and Isric Barnhart. The halfback is Eric Lee, and the tight end, as we mentioned, number 44, Smith. So we've got a 4th and short, about 3 to go for the Bulldogs on their first possession of the game, and they're going to go for it. Once again, set up with 4 to the right side is Gonzalez, 5 in the formation. And he's going to fake to the tight end, tries to double move, and it does not work, and he's going to try to run for it, and he gets tackled out of bounds. And that'll be a turnover early for the Bulldogs after a great first possession. Got him down to the midfield. So now the quarterback on for the Redskins, of course, number 2, Aaron Huffman, the senior, who also plays defense, has had a stellar year to this point. He's led his team to the undefeated record behind the running of number 23, Cameron Locke. So Huffman will go under center for the first play of the game for the Redskins. And he will hand the ball off. But this will be to number 20, or this will be to number 5, Jared Cockerell. And everybody, I think, expected that one to go to Locke there. Let's look at the offensive line for the Redskins while we have some time at the tackle position. Cole Hogan, Cody Klosterman at the guard. The center filling in for the injured, I believe that was Thrush, is the center, John Bourne. The other guard, Stone Shinar, and the tackle, Corey Crawford. And Locke does get it this time, and he finds a hole, and he's up the middle, and he's gone. No one's going to catch him, and he's into the end zone for the first score of the game, but there is a flag down. Hold your horses. There is a flag down at midfield. Let's see what they say here. And this one's coming back, and it's going to go against the offensive line that we just named there. So a holding going against the Redskins, and that's going to negate that 45-yard run from Locke there. So that'll bring up a second down. It'll make it about 2nd and 20. Let's look at the skill players for Wapak. Right there, we just saw Cameron Locke, one we talked about, needs to get going, and he almost did right there. The penalty brought him back. The fullback, Jared Cockerell. The wide receivers, Court Miracle and Ethan Good, and the tight end, Pace Childs. So the ball will be spotted at the 45-yard line, and Huffman's got to try to make up for that penalty on his offensive line there. He sends Locke in motion, and he rolls out to his right, and he finds Locke down the field, and he does catch it at the 25, and he's gone. 2 plays in a row, Cameron Locke just takes over the defense of the Bulldogs and marches it into the end zone. This one will not be called back. No flags down. And it will stand, put 6 points up on the board for the Redskins with 8:30 remaining in this first quarter of play. My goodness, 2 explosive plays back to back. The defensive coordinator cannot be happy for the Bulldogs. So this will bring on Myers to attempt the extra points. And the hold is good, and the kick is good, but there's a flag down. I believe we either have a Bulldog jumping off sides or a false start. And if they blew the whistle, it's going to be an offsides. Okay, so it will go offsides on Defiance. Let's see what happens here, because usually what you see in football is if they're going to blow the whistle, that means it's a false start. But since there is a possibility of them going for a 2-point conversion, and it looks like that's not going to happen. So we will bring out the kicker once again, Meyer, to attempt the extra points. The first one was good. So let's see, here he goes with his second attempt. As we mentioned, this kid's getting looks from Purdue. And the snap is good, the kick is good, and that's going to finish off the exciting play for the Redskins. So 7-0 is our score with 8:30 remaining. We'll be back with more Week 7 WBL action here at Fred Brown Stadium. You're watching Game Face, Ohio.
Where is that TSC bill? How can I pay it if I can't find it?
You don't need the bill. You can pay it online at telcirco.com.
Wasn't there a special this month?
Yes, we got it from TSC's Facebook page.
I know I've got the announcement for the club here somewhere.
I just sent it to TSC to air on Channel 2. With Telcirco.com, Facebook, Channel 2, and their newsletter, TSC makes it easy to stay connected.
Now, if they could just help me clean up my desk.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
When you see an orange truck, you think GA Windsor & Son Company. But the next time you see an orange GA Windsor & Son truck, we want you to think green. Why green? Because GA Windsor & Son are the original recyclers. Using a modern fleet of trucks, GA Windsor & Son Company collects food co-products from restaurants, food retailers, and food manufacturers in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and Kentucky. These food co-products are used to manufacture quality livestock and pet care feed ingredients. So the next time you see an orange GA Windsor & Son truck, think green.
Welcome back to Fred Brown Stadium here in Defiance, Ohio, and the Redskins put up the first points of the game there on the reception by Locke from the quarterback Huffman, and that was about a 55-60 yard reception there, and a great offensive showing so far for the Redskins in this one. Myers back on to kick this one deep, and once again Scott will be back to field the kick for the Bulldogs. And this one will go into the end zone, so that is a touchback. And that will once again bring out the kicker, Gonzalez. They moved the ball pretty well on their first possession, got it all the way down to the midfield, closer to the 45-yard line, and then stalled on a fourth down. Let's see what Coach Beauty's got in mind for this one. So the second drive of the game is about to get underway for the Bulldogs. And if they want to respond, they've got to do it here, because the Redskins offense can do what we just saw on that first drive. They can do it a lot and often, especially against a weak defense like Defiance here. And this one is tipped and eventually caught. And that looked like Jake Meyer, who made the reception there for the Bulldogs. So that'll bring up a second down. Let's look at the defensive line real quick for the Redskins. Starting at the defensive line, Logan Ricker, Court Miracle, the defensive ends, Marcus South and Corey Crawford. 2nd and 3 now for the Bulldogs as we tick under 8 minutes remaining in the first quarter of play. Gonzalez is going to roll it to his right. Is he going to keep it? Nope, he's going to throw it, and it goes over the head of the intended receiver, Scott. Jordan Scott was the intended receiver. So that's going to bring up a third down. Let's look at the linebacking core now for the Redskins. Jared Cockerell is the inside linebacker. The two outside linebackers, Landon Hall and Dylan Huell, help that run defense of the Walpole Redskins tonight. Gonzalez looking for a quick throw here, and he almost has his receiver, and once again, that is Scott. They're looking to go to him early in this one. He made a big play on the first possession, but so far, two intended passes going towards him and both incomplete. So that'll bring up a 4th down and 3 now. Real quick, let's go over the secondary of the Redskins. We have Drew Voll, Aaron Huffman at the safety positions, and Nate Elsass and Cameron Locke are your defensive backs. So the Bulldogs will punt this one away. And it bounces just before the 50 and then bounces back to the 50 and is down by a Bulldog player as Emilio Gonzalez downs it at the 50-yard line. So the Redskins will take over with great field position, and they're going to try to score once again. 2 big plays in a row. The first one was a touchdown that was negated because of a holding, and that was a rushing touchdown by Locke that was negated, and then he had a passing touchdown that went 60 yards. So we've seen it already. This offense is capable of producing the big plays. Will they do it again on this drive? Huffman sends Locke in motion. They're going to run the option. He will pitch it out to him. And he has a hole. And he breaks it up to around the 40-yard line. And the spot they're going to give him looks like he's going to be just a little bit short of the 40. So it will bring up a 2nd down. Let's quick take a look at the defensive line for the Bulldogs. Nate Porter is the tackle, along with Jackson Meter, and Jay Vaughn is the nose tackle. 2nd and 1 now for the Redskins. Huffman will drop back here. And he is pressured and dropped at the 50-yard line. Great penetration there by the D-line of the Bulldogs. Let's look at the linebacking core now for the Bulldogs. They've got plenty of them. Noah Strasburg, Bishop Robertson, Jordan Scott, Mitchell Glassford, and Cole Clellan are the linebackers for the Bulldogs. Let's look at the defensive backs as well. Jaron Tipton, Isric Barnhart, and Austin Ellinger are the defensive backs starting for the Bulldogs. So 3rd and 10 now after losing 9 yards there. Huffman is going to air it out once again, and it's knocked down on the coverage there. Great coverage by Clellan there for the Bulldogs, knocking it down. That was intended for Elsas. And it's going to bring up a 4th down and will bring out the punting unit for the Redskins. And of course, the punter is also the running back and our player to watch, Cameron Locke. So the second drive of the game stalls for the Redskins, and they'll have to punt it away. Looks like Barnhart back to receive this one. And it's going to be fielded at around the 11-yard line. So that'll bring out the offense there of the Bulldogs. And actually looking over that looked like Ellinger actually back to field that one for the Bulldogs. So that will bring out the quarterback once again, Gonzalez. So now they're on their 3rd possession, or their 3rd drive of the game here. Will start out at around the 11-yard line. So far, a very interesting first quarter of play. The Bulldogs offense looks like it wants to get going, but it stalls just as they're getting ready to get some things going there, as Gonzalez has dropped down after a gain of only 2. But credit the defense of the Redskins there. They're doing a great job of not letting that O-line push them around and not letting the running game really get going. If the Bulldogs are going to beat the Redskins tonight, it's going to be through the air. So we have a 2nd down and 9 now. Gonzalez is looking for the quick pass, and he looks one way, now looks the other, and he's got his tight end down the field, but it's going to fall incomplete. And that's great coverage there by Elsas of the Redskins. Game Face Ohio is excited to be covering 2 games each week this football season. This allows us to cover all 10 games for both St. Mary's and Walpaw. We will be offering a feature game that will air the night of the game, while our bonus game will first air on Sunday evening. So now we have a 3rd down facing the Bulldogs offense here, 9 yards to the 1st down. And Gonzalez back to pass here, and he's going to roll out to his right, and he launches it way down the field, but it's going to go out of bounds and incomplete, once again bringing on the punting unit for the Bulldogs. And that was great coverage there by the secondary of the Redskins, not allowing anybody to get free there. So Locke will be back to field this one for the Redskins. So Barnhart is the punter for the Bulldogs. And it's a good punt fielded at midfield by Locke. He makes a couple moves, breaks a tackle, and he tries to break another one, but is brought down at the 35-yard line. And that'll bring out Huffman in the offense once again. Our feature game, which is produced using our HD production truck, will air the night of the game at 11 p.m. on GFO. It will also air on ABC Lima the Sunday after the game at 10 a.m. If you're a football fan, this is a great way to start your NFL Sunday. Game Face at 10, NFL pregame show at noon. Of course, you can always watch the broadcast online starting the following day. And Locke handed the ball once again. He breaks the tackle and he's out to the outside. He's got a foot race to the end zone, but he wins it And in for the score, Cameron Locke, once again for the Redskins, put 6 points up on the board. And that makes it 13-0 now, and this one could get ugly here. We talked about it. Defiance didn't want it to happen. Wapak did want it to happen, and it could be happening here. Locke with 2 touchdowns, big touchdowns, back-to-back there for the Redskins. The first, a 60-yard passing touchdown, and the second, a 30-yard rush. So Meyer on once again to kick for the Redskins. The hold is good, and the kick is up. It is good as well. So 14-0 is our score now. 4:50 remaining until the end of the first quarter. We'll be back with more action here on Game Face, Ohio.
TV everywhere.
TV everywhere?
That's right, everywhere. You can watch TV from your tablet, your phone, your laptop, any mobile device, anywhere you want.
Laundromat?
Yes.
Grocery store?
Yes.
Park?
Yes.
What if I wanted to watch TV at home?
All your favorite networks all the time. It's TV everywhere from TSC.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
Owen Kitchen and Bath Showroom has been family owned and operated since 1990. We can help you from start to finish with your entire project. Let one of our professional designers put the final touches on your project. Owen Kitchen and Bath now has 2 showrooms to better serve you in Wapakoneta and Lima. Owen Kitchen and Bath, cabinetry that will take your breath away at prices that won't.
We're back here at Fred Brown Stadium, and the Redskins just put up another touchdown, courtesy of Cameron Locke, and Meyer on to kick this one off here, and it will go into the end zone for a touchback. So we talked about it, 2 explosive plays by the running back who was our key, or was our player to watch for the Redskins, and Locke has done a great job here tonight on offense. He had the 60-yard reception for a touchdown and the 30-yard rushing touchdown, and we're not even out of the first quarter yet. If this continues, this could get ugly quick. Bulldogs offense needs to do something right here, right now on this possession if they want to stay in it. We've got 4 receivers in the formation now for Gonzalez. And he looks for his tight end, and he's got him. And he's going to be dropped just before the 25-yard line. Once again, targeted was Smith there. So that'll bring up a second down now for the Bulldogs. And as we talked about it, Coach Beauty there down on the sideline. Can't be happy with the performances Bulldogs have given him so far in this game. They certainly play hard. That's one thing he mentioned. He has a team that plays hard. It's just sometimes the talent isn't there or the aggression isn't there, and that's something we're seeing tonight out of this Bulldog squad as they line up with 4 to the right of Gonzalez. He looks for his receiver, and it's caught but then dropped, and they're going to say an incomplete pass. So that was Barnhart, the intended receiver, that had it and then dropped it. So that'll bring up a third down. And going back to Defiance, big things are happening here in Defiance. Maybe it won't be shown on the record, but they are getting a new football field starting next year, a turf field to have football and soccer. Last night, actually, Defiance Bulldogs faced off against the Van Wert Cougars on this very field for the first time in a soccer match. The score was 1-1, but that was the first time that they had ever played soccer on this field. And we've got Gonzalez looking for his receiver. It falls out of bounds, but like we said, big things happening. They're getting a new turf football field. They're getting a new turf baseball field and softball field. And plus, they are starting construction on a brand new high school. So big things happening around the campus of Defiance. And it's something to look forward to in the future for these players and, of course, the fans everywhere. Turf field is nice. Wapak obviously knows what it's like to play on turf, and soon the Bulldogs will as well. So that'll bring up a third down now for the Bulldogs. And so far in this game, they are 0-4 going for it on third down. I'm sorry, that's going to bring up a fourth down. So that makes them 0-4 on third down conversions. My bad. Thanks to our statistician, Rick Carlton, for pointing that one out for me. So, yes, the Bulldogs are 0-4 on third down conversions, and they will punt it away once again. Barnhart back to do it. Locke back to field. And he does field at the 40-yard line. And a couple fancy moves, and he could have one here. He's got a foot race to the end zone and a great block. He got a great block from a teammate, and he's gone. No one's going to catch him into the end zone. Cameron Locke. The Redskins just putting it on the Bulldogs early in this one, put 6 more points up on the board for Wapak. Mama, there goes that man again. Oh my goodness, Cameron Locke, his 3rd touchdown of the game, and he's done it all over, passing, rushing, and returning right there. So Meyer on once again to kick it for the Redskins. Snap is good, the hold is good, and so is the kick. So the score now stands 21-0, courtesy of 3 Cameron Locke touchdowns. We'll be back with more Week 7 WBL action here at Fred Brown Stadium on GameFace, Ohio.
Sure, you don't need a set-top box to watch cable, but without one, you're not getting everything your TV has to offer. Add a set-top box from TSC to your television and get more channels. Get a channel guide that tells you all about the shows. Run multiple devices through one universal remote, and you can even add DVR and HD channels. Get everything your TV has to offer with a set-top box. Call TSC and ask for your set-top box today.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
We are state of the art.
We are professional.
Thank you. You're welcome. Have a great day. We are service you can trust.
We are here for you.
With custom fabrication, a variety of roofing options, and exceptional roofing knowledge and expertise, Frost Roofing is committed to providing top-notch quality service on every project. To learn more, visit us online at frost-roofing.com and follow us on social media.
We're back here at Fred Brown Stadium in Defiance. Eli Alvarez here on the call for this one. And if you're a Redskins fan, you're smiling ear to ear right now as Cameron Locke has 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, and there's 3:36 remaining. Myers on to kick this one away. His last 2 have gone into the end zone, and this one as well. So here's another touchback, and the Bulldogs will once again start at their 20-yard line. So on the first possession of the game for the Bulldogs, they were able to march all the way down to the 50-yard line, did not cross it, but they got there and then tried to go for it on 4th down and did not get it. But that's the closest they've come from passing the 50-yard line tonight. The offense needs to start going here. We talked about it. This one could get ugly, and it's starting to. A 3-score game in only the first quarter. Let's see what Coach Beauty has drawn up tonight, or on this drive for his Bulldogs. And flags fly, and it looks like there will be a false start, so that'll back them up even more. So now we've got a 1st and 15 for the Bulldogs. Our bonus game here at GameFace Ohio is produced by Editing in Post-Production. Therefore, it is not scheduled to air until 6 p.m. on the Sunday after the game. That's on our GFO channel only. You can also watch the bonus game online, typically starting the Monday after the game. And Gonzalez in trouble here. He's looking for someone. Great defense by the secondary of Wapak. And there is a man down the field, but it is knocked away. And the secondary there for the Redskins, Drew Voll, comes up with a big swat there. And that one falls incomplete, bringing up a 2nd down now. The United Way of Auglaize County reminds us that great things happen when we live united. When filling out this year's pledge card, be sure to give where you live and designate Auglaize County. So we got a 2nd and 15 now for Gonzalez in his offense. He's set up in the shotgun once again. 4 wide receivers in the formation. And he's got a man down the field, and it looks like it's close to being intercepted. What are they going to say? Oh, they're going to say he's out of bounds. That was close on that one. Tyler Copland tried to come up with the interception there, and the refs adding a little bit of suspense as he waits to run up on the play to call it there. But that's okay. That makes it a little bit more exciting, but he does not come up with it. Good effort there, though, by the Redskins secondary. They've been stellar in this game so far, holding Gonzalez to only 6 of 15 throwing, and most of that came on his first possession of the game. 3rd and 15 now from the 15-yard line, and another flag flies, and another false start going against the offensive line of the Bulldogs will back them up even further now. So a 3rd and 20 faces the Bulldogs offense with 3:17 remaining in the first quarter. I can't believe we're still in the first quarter. So Coach Beauty now has to have something planned here. I'm sure he saw this possibly coming. He knew how good of a team Wapak was. He knew his team has been down recently, but I'm sure he has something ready to go here. They have to have something ready just in case this would happen, and so far airing the ball out is not the key, as we've seen Gonzalez drop back and just throw haymakers way down the field. He's done it so many times this game so far. None of them really have come up with a reception. So that game is not working. They might have to switch things up. The running game has certainly done nothing so far for the Bulldogs. And as we mentioned, if the Bulldogs are going to win this one, they are still down by 3 touchdowns, remind you. If they are going to come back, they're going to have to do it throwing the ball, but maybe not those long balls they've been doing. So Barnhart back to punt once again. Locke standing around the 45 to field it. And the punt is blocked. It is blocked and goes into the back of the end zone. Special teams, offense, defense, doing the job for the Redskins tonight. That was number 31, Marcus South, getting in there and blocking it. So that goes into the back of the end zone for a safety and put 2 points up on the board for the Redskins. 23-0 is now our score. And all around, a great performance for the Redskins and Coach Moyer tonight. And as we mentioned, keep in mind, we are still not out of the first quarter, and we'll be right back.
Come out to Astro Lanes in the Loft Bar and Grill, where you can find great food, good drinks, fun games, and of course, bowling. Astro Lanes, a great place to spend some spare time.
Strength is about so much more than the body. It's about being together, serving, sharing, and caring for those around us. It's about keeping score in the heart rather than on a scoreboard. Be a part of a community that builds more than your body. At the Wapakoneta Family YMCA.
We're back here at Defiance at Fred Brown Stadium. Eli Alvarez here on the call, and don't adjust your set just yet. It is 23-0 with 3:03 remaining in the first quarter. That is correct. And we just saw a safety, so the Bulldogs will kick off from the 20-yard line now to the Redskins, and it's fielded by the man who made the safety possible, and that was, of course, number 31, Marcus South, and he brings it across the 50 to around the 45-yard line. So that's where Huffman and company will set up. So let's see what type of explosion we see out of the Redskins offense this drive. I think everybody expects it. The defense has done nothing to stop them to this point. And Huffman looks for his receiver and has him. And will it be enough for a first down? Looks like it will be. And that was number 11, Ethan Good, with the reception there, moving the chains for the Redskins. And that is another first down for them. That's 4 total first downs on the night. Could possibly have more. But don't forget, a lot of their touchdowns have come off 50 or 60-yard runs. So Huffman is in the shotgun once again. And he has an intended receiver. And it is complete, and that looks like, I believe that is 88 for the Redskins. And that, of course, is the tight end, Case Childs, with the reception there. His first reception of the game. So Huffman in the shotgun again. He's going to air it out. He's got a wide open receiver across the middle of the field. Dances around, breaks the tackle, and he stretches out. Is it enough? No. Down at the 1 yard line is Ethan Good coming up with a big reception there for the offense of the Redskins, bringing it all the way down to the 1 yard line. Great effort to stretch the ball out there, try to get the touchdown, but is stopped just short. So now we have a first down on the 1 yard line. And the Redskins offense once again threatening to score here. We talked about it. Coach Moyer wanted this to be a game where when it came to the second half, he could put his subs on and rest his starters for the weeks to come in the grueling WBL season. It's good to have a game like this to get some people some rest. But the way it's going, he could probably pull his starters here in the second quarter. And there's another touchdown. And it's off of a rushing touchdown. And that's going to be from number 5, Jared Cockerell. He punches that one in for the Redskins, so put 6 more points up on the board, bringing the score 29-0 with 1:37 remaining in the first quarter. Meyer on to make it 30-0. Talking to our camera operators before the game, they joked about possibly the Redskins putting up 30 points in the first quarter, and now it's a reality. 30-0 is the score with 1:37 remaining in the first quarter. Redskins dominating the Bulldogs early. We'll be back with more action here on Game Face, Ohio.
The Wapakoneta Daily News, bringing you local news and more since 1905. With subscriptions starting at just 35 cents a day, the Wapakoneta Daily News is Wapak's source for timely local coverage of news, sports, classifieds, entertainment, and more. The Wapakoneta Daily News. Subscribe online today.
For over 100 years, the Stolly Insurance Team has been looking out for you.
We have access to major insurance companies all over the country.
So together, we can customize an insurance program that will offer you the best coverage for the best premiums.
Let us look out for you. Give us a call for a personalized proposal today.
Proudly featuring Motorist Insurance, Stolly Insurance in Lima, Wapak, Salina, and Lakeview. Representing Motorist Insurance Group and other fine insurance companies. Stolly Insurance.
We're back here at Fred Brown Stadium in Defiance, Ohio. Eli Alvarez here on the call. And yep, it is 30-0 with 1:37 remaining in the first quarter. And Meyer, once again, is back onto the field for the Redskins to kick this one away. And this one will go into the end zone for another touchback, bringing out the offense of the Bulldogs once again to start at the 20-yard line. So a lot of people may be wondering, of course, the new rule put in last year was the running clock. If a team goes up by 30 points, the clock will run without any interruptions besides a timeout or a touchdown. But keep in mind, that only happens in the second half. We are still in the first quarter. So the clock will stop when necessary. But if it gets to the second half and it is still a 30-point lead for the Redskins, then the clock will roll continuously. But for right now, it will be managed as usual. Just to clear up any confusion there. I know that rule only being introduced last year. A lot of people weren't even really aware of it last year. But it's a rule that you can see where the upside is. You know, if you have a team just being dominated, like we've seen the Bulldogs be so far in this one, you don't want the game to last forever. You know, the kids start to get a little depleted. And maybe, you lose some fans. This way it hurries things up but I don't think they ever expected to see the 30-point lead in the first quarter. But that's what we're seeing right now. So now we have a third down here for the Bulldogs. And they've got 1 yard to go to get the first down. Not many first downs for them so far on the night, only 2. And they're 0 of 5 on third down conversions. And they're not going to get another one here. So that will bring up a fourth down. So 0 and 6 on third down conversions now are the Bulldogs. And with the ball at the 29-yard line, they're looking to go for it. Nope, looks like they're just going to stay there and let the clock run out on the first quarter. And that's about all you can do if you're Coach Beauty and the Bulldogs. So the clock finally strikes 0, but on the first quarter, 30-0 is the score. The Redskins lead it. We'll be back with the second quarter here at Fred Brown Stadium. You're watching Game Face, Ohio. Welcome back to Fred Brown Stadium here in Defiance, Ohio. 30-0 is the score as we're getting ready to start the second quarter of play. Eli Alvarez here on the call. This one, and the big story of the night is, of course, our player to watch. If you listened or if you were here for the pregame show, of course, is number 23, Cameron Locke. He has just been unstoppable. A receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and of course he had the punt return for 60 yards that capped it off there for the Redskins, giving them the 21-0 lead early, to which they expanded due to a Marcus South safety, making it 23-0, and then Jared Cockrell punched it in from the 1 yard line, and that's where we get the 30 points so far for the Redskins. So now that the Bulldogs turned over the possession there for the Redskins, it'll bring up a first down on the 30, the best field position of the night for the Redskins. And here's another handoff, bringing the ball up to the 15. Landon Hall this time, the ball carrier. And we haven't really seen Locke on the field since his last touchdown, and that could be a case of coach resting him. As we mentioned, a grueling season so far to this point in the WBL, and a lot more physical games to come for the Redskins in the future, especially with playoff aspirations for the fan base and the team. They don't want to hurt their star player, so it would be wise if they took him out at this point in the game, as that one falls incomplete. But so far, no sign of luck and in this possession or on this drive. So it'll be interesting if we see him the rest of the game. So we've got a second down for Huffman and company now at the 15-yard line. And it is a dive, and this is to Hall once again, and only gains about 2 or 3 on the play, so it'll bring up a third down now. So far, the Redskins have only failed to score on one of their drives, and that's when they had to punt the ball due to a sack that dropped them back. And remember, it was a 2nd and 1. They got dropped back for a loss of 9, brought up a 3rd and 10, and could not convert, so they had to punt it away. But so far, a touchdown on every drive for the Redskins besides that one. Now with this third down, Huffman dropping back, and he's going to take off and is dropped. So he is dropped at around the 12-yard line, and it looks like they're thinking about bringing on the kicking unit. And they will. So the kicker with the great leg, Tristan Meyer, on once again to kick for the Redskins. This time he's attempting a field goal for the first time in this one. I think we've called his name almost more than anybody else's tonight because of the amount of times he's been out to not only kick the point after, but to kick the ball on a kickoff. And here we see him trying his first field goal attempt of the night. And the kick is up. It's just wide. So no good. And that'll still keep the score at 30-0 with 9:58 remaining in this one. And the Bulldogs offense will take back over possession at the 12-yard line. So it had the distance, obviously no problem for Meyer there, just a little bit wide, which I think Redskins fans aren't going to be too upset with that one as we see the 30 points up on the board for the Redskins. That was in the first quarter, too, and once again, just to clarify, the 30 points, the 30-point lead with the clock running, that rule does not come into effect until the second half of play. So we now have a second down for the Bulldogs after that play goes nowhere. Tried a little trickeration there. Did not work. The Bulldogs just looking for something to get their offense going. So far, the first drive of the game, the only time we saw them move the ball with any aggression, with any creativeness. Yeah. So Gonzalez drops back and he finds his receiver and he's going to be stopped just short of the first down, which will bring up a third down now. And the Bulldogs trying to get that ball across the marker at the 30-yard line. It would be only their first down of the game.
Third down 2.
So here we go. Defiance, as we mentioned, 0 of 6 on third down conversions, and they got their first one of the night, as that one is completed to Jordan Scott, and it will move the chains for the third first down of the night for the Bulldogs. So the defense of the Redskins have held this to this point so far, not letting the offense get across the 50-yard line. Now they're threatening to do so, as this one is complete on the far side of the field from Gonzalez. Only gains about 4 on the play. And that was Storm Herrera with the reception there. Second down now for the Bulldogs, and pressure on the far side of the field by the defensive lineman there, South. Great job getting in there and pressuring the quarterback. He did not see it coming, and Gonzalez took a hit. Was able to get rid of the ball, though. No gain on the play for the offense. Looking to get across the 50-yard line for the first time in tonight's game. So another third down try for the Bulldogs. They're 1 of 7 now on the night. 4 receivers to the far side of the field for Gonzalez. 1 on the near side. And he has a receiver wide open down the field, but he cannot come up with it. That was number 4, Cole Clellan, trying to come up with the reception there, wide open. He would have had a gain of 25 plus on that one, but could not come up with it. The ball hit him right in the numbers and he dropped it. So the offense had something going there for a second, but then stopped on the incompletion there. So that'll make the offense of the Bulldogs now 1 of 8 on third down conversions. And it'll once again bring out Barnhart to do the punting duties for the Bulldogs, and looking to see who the returner is for the Redskins, and they have a new returner out there. And it does bounce out at around the 25-yard line, but that was Maddox Lyles back to do the returning for the Redskins there. And I think that's an indicator that we're not going to see Locke the rest of the game, because he normally does the duties for the Redskins on the punting game. He was not back there this time. He could be done for the night. And there's only 6:50 remaining until half. But as we mentioned, this is definitely something coaches have to keep in mind, resting their starters. It's a grueling schedule in the WBL. You play a lot of physical teams, so when you get a game like this, when you get a game where you put a lot of points up on the board early and have time to just sit back and relax, it's a good time to pull out your starters and give them some rest for the coming weeks. So Huffman hands this one off to Hall, and it goes nowhere, bringing up a second down now. Make sure to check out GameFaceOhio.com for information on our past and future broadcasts. You can watch highlight packages and full broadcasts, as well as find out information on our upcoming schedule. GameFace Ohio also maintains an extensive archive of its past broadcasts. So if you ever wanted to relive an exciting game, check out GameFaceOhio.com. So now 6:10 remaining until half. Huffman dropping back once again, looking for his receiver, and it is dropped in and out of the hands of number 11, Ethan Good. So it'll bring up a third down now. And before the game here in Defiance, we had a great atmosphere. I mean, the fans seemed excited. They seemed optimistic. You look at the far side, it is a long drive to Defiance, and there's a good turnout for Walpock fans. Not as many as you usually see, but it is a good turnout for standards of a high school football game. And if you came to this one and you're a Walpock fan, you are happy you did, because you're seeing a lot of offense. And you're seeing some more here, as that is a reception down the middle, and finally dropped to the ground at the 35 is number 9, Tyler Copeland. We called his name once on the defensive end of things, and here he is catching a deep bomb from Huffman on third down. So that's 8 first downs now for the Redskins. So Huffman back in the shotgun after that play. Once again, a completion for number 9, Copeland. And this is going to be another handoff to Hall, and he breaks the tackle, and he's up the near side of the field, and it's a foot race, and he's into the end zone. Another touchdown for the Redskins. Put 6 more points up on the board. 36-0 now is the score with 5:30 remaining. Landon Hall, once again, punching it in. If you were with us a couple weeks ago, he had the crucial pick 6 against Lima Bath that sealed that one. And, of course, the Redskins went on to win that because of the pick 6. And here he is doing things on the offensive side of the ball, punching it in for another Redskins touchdown. And Meyer once again on to attempt the point after, and it is good. So 37-0 is our score now. 5:30 remaining until the half. We'll be back with more Week 7 WBL action here on GameFace Ohio.
TSC can save you money.
How?
TSC can save you money with Emerge.
What's Emerge?
The Emerge bundle plan. TSC will merge your phone, cable TV, and internet into one nice, neat package to save you money.
How much money?
A boatload. The Emerge bundle plan only from TSC.
TSC, give us a call and see. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
At Minster Bank, we understand that life can get hectic. That's why when it comes to your banking, we offer the services that make your life simpler, with tools like person-to-person payments, Pop Money, mobile and online banking, and bill pay. But most of all, Minster Bank is a supportive member of your community, with personal relationships and customer service that reach outside of our branches. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
We're back here at Fred Brown Stadium in Defiance, Ohio. Eli Alvarez here on the call. Week 7 is underway, and we're already seeing a blowout as the score has turned to 37-0 in favor of the Redskins early in this one. Keep in mind, they put up 30 points in the first quarter. Not so much in the second quarter, but a lot of the starters have been benched so far for the Redskins. Cameron Locke, we have seen the last of him, and he was taken out late in the first quarter, which kind of shows you the explosiveness of this Redskins offense. And this one is brought up to around the 28-yard line, and then once again, Jordan Scott was the returner. So the quarterback, number 10, Alex Gonzalez, onto the field for the Bulldogs. So with 5:24 remaining until half, the Bulldogs looking to get something going. Give credit to the fans. They have stuck it out so far here in Defiance. And rolling out is Gonzalez, and he's going to take off. And he gets up to about the 36-yard line there before being pushed out of bounds, which will bring up a second down now. Gonzalez once again in the shotgun formation, this time 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side of him. And he's dropping back looking for somebody, and he's going to have to take off. He avoids one tackler, but he's pushed out of bounds, and it looks like he stumbled all the way out onto the track there. Hopefully he's okay. And it looks like he will walk back onto the field, so pushed out of bounds after, looks like from the spot, they're going to give him maybe a yard, if that, on that one. So it'll bring up a third down now. Ball on the 34-yard line. Defiance offense looking to do something here. So far, their third down conversions have not been great. But looks like they're going to get one here, as it is a completion on the far side of the field. And that is the tight end, big number 44, Smith, with the reception there. So that's only the second third down conversion for the Bulldogs tonight. They're 2 of 9 now on third downs. That makes it now their 4th first down of the game as well, which isn't surprising considering the score 37-0 at the moment. The offense has had nothing going for them in this first half of play. So we've got a 2nd and 10 now for the Bulldogs. Once again, 4 wide receivers out to the right side of Gonzalez. And it is a bubble screen. And it's going to go nowhere. Tackled on the play was number 4, Cole Clellan. And he loses a couple yards there. So it brings up a third down and about 12 to go. 12 to go now. Gonzalez in the shotgun, this time trips to his left side. And he can't find anybody, so he's going to take off. Now he has a receiver, and that was actually intended for number 29, Austin Ellinger, but he could not come up with it because it was tipped by the tight end, number 44, Smith. So it was over Smith's head, and he went to reach for it and tipped it, but it looked like that was going to Ellinger. Regardless, it'll bring up a 4th down and 12 now for the Bulldogs, and miscues like that have been the reason that they have not been across the 50-yard line yet in this ball game, besides switching sides, of course, between the quarters. And the only time they've come close is when they got it down to the 48-yard line on their first drive of the game. So Barnhart on to punt once again, and this is fielded by number 15. And he breaks one tackle and then is dropped at the 35-yard line. And once again, Maddox Lyles on to do the returning now. Cameron Locke, we assume, is done for the rest of the game. We haven't seen him since late in the first quarter, a valuable asset to the Redskins offense. So it's wise of Coach Moyer to not play him the rest of this game to avoid injury and anything else that could happen tonight. Of course, the Redskins got a lot of crucial games coming up ahead of them. Playoff aspirations is what they're looking at. The WBL championship is something they'll have to fight for, and it's safe to say that the perfect season is going to be okay after this week. But a lot of close games against some good opponents coming up for Wapak. And the ball carrier taken down there, Court Miracle, who's also a defensive lineman, who's now transitioned to running back. They have him down as a wide receiver and a defensive lineman, and then we just saw him do some running there. So the kid can do almost everything. So 2nd and 2 now for the Redskins. 2:36 remaining until half. And it is handed off. And breaking a couple tackles is the big number 31, Marcus South. The junior at 6'1", 190 pounds, pounds it forward for a first down, and he is the one that is the reason for the safety that we saw early in the first quarter. He got in there and blocked a punt. And now he's doing some running too, so it seems like we've got a lot of athletes on this Redskins team that can play both ways and can carry the ball and do a good job stopping other teams from carrying the ball. And here is another handoff, and this one is to Hall, and he's tripped up and then finally brought down at the 30-yard line. So Landon Hall with the carry there, moving the chains once again for the Redskins. So now 2 minutes remain until halftime. And after that first down, that makes 11 first downs on the night for the Redskins. And here goes South once again, this time only a gain of about 4 on the play. We talked about Cameron Locke not being in this game anymore. Coach Moyer holding him out, and there's good reason for that. So far, Locke is the leading rusher for the Redskins. 14 touchdowns coming into this one, adding 3 more to his tally tonight, making it 17, and 762 yards rushing the ball coming into this one. I'm sure that tally will go up after this, possibly by 100 yards or so. So the clock ticks down under a minute now. And the Redskins offense possibly looking to just run it out and go into the half. Maybe they're looking to put up some more points. I mean, they have only scored 7 points in this quarter. And Huffman will drop back, and he tries to find somebody. Incomplete, intended for the big tight end on that one, Case Childs, standing at 6'4", 225 pounds. Reached out but could not come up with it. So it is 4th down for the Redskins. And the last time they brought out their kicker, Meyer, could not capitalize and missed a pretty easy field goal, but in all fairness, it was off to the side. It wasn't centered. He had the distance. It was just a little wide, but they are going to go for it now. And they tried to draw the defense off sides there, and I think they might have just done it. And that'll be an encroachment penalty going against the Bulldogs. So someone did jump, and that'll move the chains then for the Redskins. And maybe that was the design the whole time. It looked like possibly, the play clock was running down. It got down to 3 seconds, so very well could have been the plan of Coach Moyer to try to get the defensive line to jump. And if it was, it succeeded there. So first down now on the 21-yard line for the Redskins. 26 seconds remain until half. So Huffman in the shotgun, and he's going to continue to air it out. And he has his receiver who breaks the tackle, and he's tries to make his way into the end zone, but dropped at the 3-yard line is Copeland. So Tyler Copeland with the reception there. We've called his name a couple times tonight. He's made some good defensive stops. He had about a 50-yard reception earlier. I believe it was in the second quarter, and now he almost makes his way into the end zone, but it stopped just short. So 17 seconds remain, first down, and 3 yards to go till the end zone. Huffman once again under center, and he will hand the ball off, and it will be in the end zone. And that is Landon Hall once again punching it in for the Redskins. It's getting to the point where it's hard to keep track of who scored and when, but that makes it 43-0 now. The Redskins on top with 13 seconds remaining until half. Meyer on once again to attempt the point after. And it looks like it's good, and it is good. So Landon Hall putting another 6 points up on the board for the Redskins, and Meyer capitalizing on it, making the PAT. Now 44-0 Redskins. 13 seconds remain until half. We'll be back with more here at Fred Brown Stadium. You're watching Game Face, Ohio.
Where is that TSC bill? How can I pay it if I can't find it?
You don't need the bill. You can pay it online at telcirco.com.
Wasn't there a special this month?
Yes, we got it from TSC's Facebook page.
I know I've got the announcement for the club here somewhere.
I just sent it to TSC to air on Channel 2. With telcirco.com, Facebook, Channel 2, and their newsletter, TSC makes it easy to stay connected.
Now, if they could just help me clean up my desk.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
When you see an orange truck, you think GA Windsor & Son Company. But the next time you see an orange GA Windsor & Son truck, we want you to think green. Why green? Because GA Windsor & Son are the original recyclers. Using a modern fleet of trucks, GA Windsor & Son Company collects food co-products from restaurants, food retailers, and food manufacturers in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and Kentucky. These food co-products are used to manufacture quality livestock and pet care feed ingredients. So the next time you see an orange GA Windsor & Son truck, think green.
Welcome back to Fred Brown Stadium here in Defiance, Ohio. And don't adjust your set. It is 44-0, and there is 13 seconds remaining until half. Landon Hall put 6 more points up on the board for the Redskins on a 2-yard run. So now Meyer on once again to do the kicking duties. And it's a line drive. Almost a squib kick fielded at the 16-yard line by Cole Clellan, and he's going to be dropped at the 30. So 6 seconds until half, and Gonzalez back on the field looking to get something going. I'm just going to assume they're going to air the ball out here. So the Bulldogs come out now with 4 wide receivers in the formation. Trips to the left of Gonzalez and is tight end to the right of him. And it's going to be a quick pass and trying to get out of bounds. And the ball is complete, and then stepping out of bounds is number 23, Jordan Scott. And it will stop the clock with 0.4 seconds. So 0.4 seconds remain until half. And I don't know if the purpose of that was to try to get out of bounds and maybe give the quarterback some more room to try to launch one down the field. But the first half, it needs to come to an end quick, especially for the Bulldogs. So Gonzalez drops back, and he's going to air it out long, and he overthrows his intended receiver, and mercifully, the clock ticks 0. 44-0 is the score at half. Redskins on top. We'll be back with the second half and your halftime report here on Game Face, Ohio.
TV everywhere.
TV everywhere?
That's right, everywhere. You can watch TV from your tablet, your phone, your laptop, any mobile device, anywhere you want.
Laundromat?
Yes.
Grocery store?
Yes.
Park?
Yes.
What if I wanted to watch TV at home?
All your favorite networks all the time. It's TV everywhere from TSC.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
Owen Kitchen and Bath Showroom has been family owned and operated since 1990. We can help you from start to finish with your entire project. Let one of our professional designers put the final touches on your project. Owen Kitchen and Bath now has 2 showrooms to better serve you in Wapakoneta and Lima. Owen Kitchen and Bath, cabinetry that will take your breath away at prices that won't.
Welcome back to Fred Brown Stadium here in Defiance, Ohio, where the score currently stands at halftime, 44-0, and welcome inside the Game Face Ohio halftime show. The band's now on the field performing. So let's go over real quick what happened in that first half. A lot to talk about, mainly on the Walpock side of things. And, of course, the big story of the night, number 23, Cameron Locke. 3 touchdowns for him on the night. The first 3 touchdowns of the game. Of course, the first one, a receiving touchdown from about 60 yards out. Then he punched one in from 30 yards out for a rushing touchdown, and then he returned a punt from 60 yards out, and shortly after that, he was pulled for the rest of the game. Of course, a good decision there by Coach Moyer. And then we had the safety by number 31, Marcus South. He had the blocked punt that went into the back of the end zone that put 2 more points up on the board, making it 23-0. And then the running back, number 5, Jared Cockerell, punched it in from about 1 yard out to make it 30-0. And then we saw number 1, Landon Hall, punch it in 2 times from within the 10-yard line to cap off the halftime score, making it 44-0. That's how we got to this point. Let's look at the unofficial stats in tonight's game. First off, for the Defiance Bulldogs, passing on the night for Gonzalez, 15 of 24 throwing the ball, only 4 first downs, 2 of 10 on third down conversions, and they went for it twice and did not get it either time. 1 turnover by the Bulldogs, and that was, 2 turnovers by the Bulldogs, and that was the 2 times they did not get the 4th down conversion. Penalties for the Bulldogs, 4 penalties resulting in 20 yards. Only 1 3-and-out, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for a loss. On the Walpock side of things, their unofficial stats, 6 of 10 throwing the ball was Huffman, 13 first downs, and 1 of 4 on third downs, which is kind of an amazing stat to think about when the score is 44-0. Penalties, 1 penalty going against Walpock for 10 yards, 6 touchdowns as we mentioned, 1 passing, 4 rushing, and the 1 punt return by Locke. And, of course, also the safety by Marcus South. Field goals attempt for Meyer. He missed 1 from about 20 yards out. It was a little off to the side. It was long enough, just a little wide. 5 3-and-outs for the defense and 4 tackles for a loss. That's going to do it for the halftime report. We'll be back with the second half here on Game Face, Ohio.
Sure, you don't need a set-top box to watch cable, but without one, you're not getting everything your TV has to offer. Add a set-top box from TSC to your television and get more channels. Get a channel guide that tells you all about the shows. Run multiple devices through one universal remote, and you can even add DVR and HD channels. Get everything your TV has to offer with a set-top box. Call TSC and ask for your set-top box today.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
We are state of the art.
We are professional.
Thank you. You're welcome. Have a great day. We are service you can trust.
We are here for you.
With custom fabrication, a variety of roofing options, and exceptional roofing knowledge and expertise, Frost Roofing is committed to providing top-notch quality service on every project. To learn more, visit us online at frost-roofing.com and follow us on social media.
Welcome back to Fred Brown Stadium here in Defiance, Ohio. Second half kickoff almost underway, and it is 44-0 in favor of the Redskins. And they've got the 30-point lead, and it is the second half, so that means the rule put in place last year will come into play here. The clock will run continuously now that there is a 30-point lead. If Defiance was able to come back and make it a game that did not have a 30-point lead or less than 30 points, then the clock will go back to normal. But for right now, we will have a continuous clock for the rest of the game unless Defiance does something about it here in the second half. So far, judging by the offensive display we've seen out of them, they're going to have a difficult time doing it, but don't put anything against them. We talked about it. The WBL, so grueling. It's a schedule that no team really wants to have. You know, a lot of these teams in the WBL that are having some trouble with Thrive and other conferences. But unfortunately for Defiance, right now they're in a bad spell this year, and they came up against a really good Redskins team, and it's not the night they've wanted, especially on homecoming night. But it is 44-0, and we're getting ready to start the second half here. So, of course, Defiance received in the first, so now you see the Redskins offense on. And we talked about the running back that had the 3 touchdowns in the first half, Cameron Locke. He is no longer on. He was pulled late in the first quarter. Well, now we have a new quarterback. They pulled Huffman, the starting quarterback, and now we're going to see Drew Vole, number 10, taking over the quarterback duties for the rest of this one for the Redskins. So Vole now will hand the ball off, and this one goes to number 13 of the Redskins, and that's Ashton Meeks. As we mentioned, a lot of starters taken out and replaced with their backups here in the second half. So now we've got to learn a bunch of different names now to call for you. And there was the first one right there with Meeks only carrying the ball for a couple yards. He was actually dropped for a loss there. It'll bring up 2nd and 12 now. So Vole now back to pass, and he does have his receiver, finds him at the 45-yard line. And that was caught by Colin Gollett. So now we have a 4th down, so the first possession of the second half for the Redskins is going to stall, and they're going to bring out their punter. Well, their punter usually, you see number 23 back punting, Cameron Locke, but now we've got the new punter on as well, and of course it is the kicker, Tristan Meyer, now on to do the punting for the Redskins. So the snap was a little high. Meyer able to come up with it, and it's a great punt, very high. A lot of hang time, and hit as soon as it fielded right there at the 10-yard line. Good job by the special teams of the Redskins to get down there and make the hit. And that was number 29, Ellinger, fielding it right there for the Bulldogs. So Defiance will take over now at around the 12-yard line. And Defiance has not pulled their starters just yet. So we will see once again number 10 stepping onto the field, Alex Gonzalez. And this one will just be a handoff to the left side, breaking a couple tackles and then brought down at around the 18-yard line. So just a reminder, this is our bonus game tonight for Week 7, but we do have a featured game going on as well, and it is the clash between the two rivals, the two Lake cities. St. Mary's is at Salina and that is our featured game, so you can check that one out on Game Face Ohio as well as this one. And that one's going to fall incomplete, batted down at the line. So it'll bring up a third down now for the Bulldogs. And we talked about the WBL just a little bit and the grueling schedule. And, of course, our featured game shows you two great teams. St. Mary's, who suffered their first loss of the season last week against Bath, and they're facing the Bulldogs of Salina, who only have 2 losses on the season. And, of course, Salina was defeated by Walpock last week. Gonzalez in trouble. He's going to roll out. He's going to run with it. Nope, he's going to throw. And incomplete. Over the head of his intended receiver. And that was Jake Meyer, the intended receiver there. Could not come up with it. So as the clock ticks to 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter, we have a 4th down for the Bulldogs. 4 yards to go. And they will punt it away. Barnhart once again back to punt. And once again we have a new returner. And this is Meeks back to do the returning, and he bobbles it and muffs it, and it's picked up by Defiance. And they get across. Nope, they're going to down him just before the 50-yard line. We almost saw Defiance get across the 50-yard line for the first time tonight, but they fielded the punt just a little bit before it. But great job by the special teams unit of the Bulldogs to get down there. And as we mentioned, that was a new punt returner once again, and that was Meeks down there this time. Usually Locke is back there to do it, but he was pulled, and then we saw Maddox Lyles back there doing the returning for him, and then he was pulled, and we just saw Meeks. And he unfortunately could not come up with it, so the Bulldogs have a chance to get across the 50-yard line for the first time in tonight's game. And here's Gonzalez, and he has a receiver but cannot come up with it. Stretching out is number 23, Jordan Scott. Might have been looking ahead there. He had a defender right in his face as soon as he touched that ball. You have the rule that coaches teach. If it touches you in the hand, you should come up with it. Well, sometimes that's better said than done, especially when you're staring at a defensive back getting ready to come up and hit you as you go across the middle. On a 2nd down, Gonzalez once again looking for something, and he has his tight end complete, and it goes across the 50 for the first time in tonight's game. 44, Smith with the reception just across the 40-yard line, and the Bulldogs are now in the territory of the Redskins with 5:20 remaining in the third quarter. So it took them a half, and it took Walpock pulling a couple of their starters, but the Bulldogs have finally made it across midfield. And here they come out once again with 4 receivers, this time to the left of Gonzalez. And another bubble screen, and it falls incomplete. And that was Ellinger trying to come up with it there. Could not hold on, so it'll bring up a 2nd down now. So 2nd and 10 on the 38-yard line for the Bulldogs. Gonzalez rolls out to his left, and he's going to take it and only gains about, nice little second effort there, and he gets it up to close to the 32-yard line now. So we've got a 3rd and about 5 or maybe 6 to go for the Bulldogs here. And it looks like Gonzalez might have been a little shaken up on that one. We saw him limping back onto the field to give the play call, but he's going to be in an empty backfield now. He's got his 4 wide receivers on the right side of him, his tight end to the left of him. He will drop back, and they're looking for that bubble screen again, but now they're going to go deep down the field, and the ball is completed, falling into the hands of Eddie Stiles, the sophomore. The first time we've called his name tonight. But now a flag is down. And this is a personal foul going against the Bulldogs. And that'll bring back the reception. So the Bulldogs had something going there. They got the first down, a decent reception down the field. So that'll move the Bulldogs back. Okay, now we've got a little confusion now. Looking down on the field, coach is talking, the refs are talking, and it looks like the play will count, but they called it a dead ball foul. So so Defiance will get the first down, but they are backed up 15 yards from where the play ended. So the play was at the end, the foul was at the end of the play. So the play did stand, and then the ball is backed up 15 yards from where the play ended. So that's why we've got a first down now just before the 30-yard line. Hope that clarifies things. It's not the first time we've had to deal with not knowing what the officials were thinking. we encounter it too much, it seems like, here. We encounter it at least once a week, but sometimes we're able to sniff it out. I think we did a good job this time. So that'll bring up a 2nd and 15 now for the Bulldogs. And Gonzalez looking for his tight end, and he's got him once again. Smith with the reception across the 30-yard line. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 5 now. And this has been a quick quarter, and you can thank the clock operator for that one. Of course, we talked about the rules in place, so we do have a continuous clock from here on out as long as the lead stays above 30 for the Redskins. That's why we're down to about a minute now remaining until the end of the quarter. And Gonzalez looking for his receiver. It falls incomplete, intended for the wideout there. That was number 88 of the Bulldogs. So now the clock is under a minute with 4th down facing the Bulldogs here. Once again, Gonzalez in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers in the formation. I'm sorry, that's a new wide receiver in for this one. Or a new quarterback in for this one. That was not Gonzalez. That was number 8, Javon Newton, in for the Bulldogs, and he throws the first down there. So it looks like Gonzalez was pulled there, and looking on the sideline, you can kind of sweep. Okay, he's over on the far side of the sideline. Looks like he's trying to walk off a knee injury, and maybe they've pulled him just to be safe. But he is no longer in the game, so Newton now in the game quarterbacking for the Bulldogs. All right, so that's the end of the 3rd quarter. 0's on the board on the game clock and 0 for the Bulldogs. 44-0 is the score at the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll be back with the final quarter of play here at Fred Brown Stadium. You're watching Game Face, Ohio.
Come out to Astro Lanes in the Loft Bar and Grill, where you can find great food, good drinks, fun games, and of course, bowling. Astro Lanes, a great place to spend some spare time.
Strength is about so much more than the body. It's about being together, serving, sharing, and caring for those around us. It's about keeping score in the heart rather than on a scoreboard. Be a part of a community that builds more than your body. At the Wapakoneta Family YMCA.
We're back here at Fred Brown Stadium in Defiance, Ohio. Eli Alvarez here on the call in the 4th quarter, just getting started. Hasn't actually started yet. 44-0 is the score in favor of the Redskins. Bulldogs threatening for the first time on the Redskins side of the field, trying to get into the red zone. And we have an exchange, and the ball is bobbled. And the Redskins will take over possession. Javon Newton, the new quarterback, filling in for Gonzalez, who seems to be hurt. Bobbled the exchange there, and the defense of the Redskins able to come up with it. So there is a turnover just as the Bulldogs were trying to make this game a little respectable by putting some points up on the board. They turn it over. So now we have a 1st and 10 on the 25 for the offense of the Redskins, and we mentioned Huffman is not on the field anymore. We've seen a couple people in doing the backup duties, and here's a handoff, and this one's gone. No one's going to catch him. The first play after the turnover is a touchdown. Put 6 more points up on the board for the Redskins. That was number 16 on that one. Rob Gressner with the carry. Over 70 yards, and the Redskins just putting it on here tonight. So Gressner puts up the 6 points, and it's 50-0 now with 11-12 remaining in this game. And not only have we made changes on the offense and defensive side of things, we see a new kicker in now for the Redskins. And his first attempt is wide, and it's shanked, and that was number 21 coming on for the Redskins. Richenbach trying his first point after, and unfortunately it does not go in. So 50-0 is the score, 11-12 remaining in the fourth quarter. We'll be back with more Week 7 WBL action here on Game Face, Ohio.
The Wapakoneta Daily News, bringing you local news and more since 1905. With subscriptions starting at just 35 cents a day, the Wapakoneta Daily News is Wapak's source for timely local coverage of news, sports, classifieds, entertainment, and more. The Wapakoneta Daily News. Subscribe online today.
For over 100 years, the Stolly Insurance Team has been looking out for you.
We have access to major insurance companies all over the country.
But together, we can customize an insurance program that will offer you the best coverage for the best premiums.
Let us look out for you. Give us a call for a personalized proposal today.
Proudly featuring motorist insurance, Stolly Insurance in Lima, Walpock, Salina, and Lakeview. Representing Motorist Insurance Group and other fine insurance companies. Stolly Insurance.
Welcome back to Fred Brown Stadium here in Defiance, Ohio. 50-0. The Redskins lead it with 11-11 now remaining. And the continuous clock coming into play. Haven't seen it much this year in high school football, but we're seeing it tonight. Anybody is ahead by 30 points or more in the second half, the clock will continuously run, besides on timeouts and touchdowns. And we talked about it, the Redskins making switches all over the place, and they even took out their kicker, Meyer. And we saw number 21 on to attempt a point after, and it did not go in. And that was Richenbach. And then we saw number 7, Lucas Shade, on to try the kicking there, and he got it down to about the 30-yard line. So this is a good time for coaches to kind of feel how their backups can do it. If an injury were to happen, you know, who can play where. It's a good process for a coach to go through and know that if you can have some athletes take over for your starters, this is a good time to see that, so the coaches can see what's going on. And Defiance so far, they're kind of doing that. We see they have a backup quarterback in, but we think part of that is due to injury. Gonzalez came out late in that third quarter to sit, but he was hobbling. So I think Coach Beauty took him out just to be on the safe side, but now we see Javon Newton in to do the quarterbacking for Defiance now. The Wapakoneta Chamber of Commerce is hosting a Meet the Candidates on Tuesday, October 13th. Hear from the candidates running for Walpock Mayor and Walpock City Auditor, as well as learn about the 3 renewal levies on the ballot. The event is being held in the large group room at Wapakoneta High School at 7 p.m. TSC will be airing the event live on its Channel 2, and replays will be shown on GameFace, Ohio. So Newton completes the pass all the way down to the 48-yard line, bringing up a third down now. So Newton now in the shotgun for the Bulldogs. He will pitch it out. Almost stopped there by the D-line, but fortunately for the Bulldogs, they were able to get something out of that one, and that was number 14, Erica Lee, moving the chains for the Bulldogs. So looking ahead to next week's schedule, our feature game will be St. Mary's hosting the Bulldogs, and our bonus game will be Walpock at OG. We'll be at OG for that one. And St. Mary's and Defiance, that should be a good one as well. Defiance has two tough teams back-to-back. Defiance obviously playing Walpock tonight, not going so well. St. Mary's is another team they'll have to be careful of blowing them out as well. But be sure to tune in to Game Face Ohio for both of those games next week. So Newton in, as we mentioned, in for the injured Gonzalez, possibly injured, possibly taken out just for some rest. He looked like he was hobbling towards the end of that third quarter, and Newton was put in his place, and so far he's been able to move the ball, but that's against what seems to be the second string defense of the Redskins. Possibly we're even seeing the third stringers at this point, a 50-point lead in the fourth quarter. A lot of possibilities for a lot of people that may not have played yet this season to get in and get some game time. A lot of players possibly earning their varsity letter tonight. And of course, that's a big deal at the banquet to hear your name called and get that varsity letter to wear on your Letterman's jacket. I know that's something I remember in high school, very prideful to walk around with your Letterman's jacket and have those gold bars on there to represent that you were a varsity player. So it's good to see some of these players getting in there and getting some action tonight. As Newton airs this one out over the head of his intended receiver, Emilio Gonzalez. And it'll bring up a fourth down now. So 4th and 6, ball on the 39-yard line. Approaching 6 minutes left in the game. And looking for a receiver deep downfield, falling incomplete. Newton had a man, and once again he targets Gonzalez, Emilio Gonzalez this time, and overthrows him. So did not get the fourth down conversion, and will turn the ball over on downs. So Walpock coming back on to the field this time. We've seen a couple different quarterbacks at the helm, trying out a few different people. This time it looks like we're going to get number 16, and that's Rob Gerstner. Actually, Gerstner was the one that had the run for a touchdown. We're actually seeing number 19, Manny Voorhees, in for Huffman. And Voorhees will hand the ball off. And only a gain of about 3 on the play. So 5 minutes remaining. I think this would be a good time to mention our play of the game, and we're going to go ahead and give those honors to one Mr. Cameron Locke, number 23, and we're going to give it the first scoring touchdown of the game, the 60-yard bomb from Huffman to Locke that really ignited the fire that is this explosive offense of the Redskins. It got things going. So our play of the game goes to the to Cameron Locke, and Huffman's reception or pass to him for 60 yards, which got things going, is why we have a 50-0 scoreline right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if we call his name later in the post-game show for possibly the player of the game as well. I mean, you score 3 touchdowns in one game, and then you get pulled in the end of the first quarter. That's some talent right there. And now we've got 4 minutes remaining until the end of this one. 3rd down and 1. And it will be a handoff, and it looks like it's going to be stopped just short, depending on the spot. And it is enough for a first down. So the spot is a lucky one, and it moves the chains. So now under 4 minutes remain until the end of this one. So Wapak now with the ball at the 49. Now they have a first down facing them. And once again, we saw another quarterback in, and this is another handoff that could go to the house, but it stopped at the 15-yard line. And Jacob Place was the ball carrier there. And we're seeing different faces and different numbers, different names in handing the ball off, running the ball. If you're on the winning team, this is very exciting because you know you're probably going to get a chance to carry the ball. And this is just going to be a quarterback sneak. And unfortunately, number 24 is not on our roster, but that is who is in right now doing the quarterbacking. Try to get a name on that, but no number 24 on our roster. But he is then doing the quarterbacking, and he's just snuck ahead right there. Make it 2nd and 4 now for the Redskins. Now 2nd and 4, ball on the 9-yard line. The Redskins looking to punch this one in maybe one more time. Nope, it's going to be a kneel down. And they're looking to run the clock out here, and that's really the respectable thing to do. A lot of sportsmanship being shown here by Coach Moyer and his team. They're just looking to run the clock out, and this running clock has made this second half one of the fastest second halves I think we've seen this year. But with a 50-0 scoreline, that could probably be a good thing. So in the victory formation are the Redskins. And that'll bring up a 4th down now. And it will not be enough to run the clock out completely. So the Bulldogs will get the ball one more time. Now, of course, with the running clock, Defiance will not have to run a play, but they will have the option to get the ball back if they want it. And if they want to do anything with it. But great sportsmanship being shown here by the Redskins. Of course, they put up 50 points, and I think that's enough for Coach Moyer. So that's pretty much going to end it. The clock will run, and the game will come to an end, with the final score being 50-0. Both coaches going to meet at midfield. Coach Moyer getting the best of Coach Beauty and his Bulldogs tonight, and the Redskins will stay undefeated and looking to continue this streak and possibly the WBL championship once again this year. So the final score from Fred Brown Stadium, 50-0 Redskins. We'll be back with the post-game show after this. Welcome back to Fred Brown Stadium in Defiance, Ohio, where the final score, 50-0. The Redskins take care of the Bulldogs in this Week 7 matchup. An exciting game if you're a Redskins fan, especially in the first quarter, putting up 30 points. Our camera operators were joking about it before the game. You know, what if the team put up 30 points and they had the running clock? Well, it happened, but the running clock obviously didn't happen until the second half, and we had a quick second half because of it. And that's where we get to our final score of 50-0. Real quick, let's recap how we got there. Cameron Locke, amazing. Just flat out amazing tonight. 3 touchdowns. The first 3 touchdowns of the game were by him. He had a receiving touchdown for 60 yards to start the game off. Then he had a rushing touchdown from about 30 yards out, and then a 60-yard punt return all the way to the house. And that was basically it for him after that. He was taken out after all of that towards the end of the first quarter. And then we had a safety by Marcus South, number 31, blocked a punt in the back of the end zone, and it rolled all the way out, putting up 2 points, making it 23-0. Then number 5, Jared Cockerell, punched it in from 1 yard out, getting the score 30-0, and that was the end of the first quarter. And then to cap things off in the second quarter, number 1, Landon Hall, punched it in 2 times from inside the 10-yard line, and that pretty much wrapped it up at the end of the second quarter, and it was 44-0 at halftime. And then coming out in the second quarter, we had 1 rushing touchdown from about 55 yards out, and that was by the backup, Rob Gressner, who ran 55 yards for the score, making it the final score 50-0. Let's look at the unofficial stats first for the home team, the Defiance Bulldogs. Passing on the night, 21 of 38. 2 quarterbacks shared those duties. We saw Gonzalez, and then his backup Newton came in when he got hurt. 8 first downs, 3 of 14 on third down, and 1 of 4 on fourth downs. 4 turnovers, 1 fumble, and of course 5 turnovers, 1 fumble, and 4 times that they did not get it on fourth down. So 5 turnovers in total. 5 penalties for the Bulldogs, for 45 yards, and 2 3-and-outs with 1 sack and 2 tackles for losses. Looking at the unofficial stats for the Redskins, passing only 7 of 11, but it got the job done. 16 first downs, 2 of 6 on third down, 1 turnover, and it was a fumble late in the second half. Really didn't have any impact on the game. Only 1 turnover for the Redskins. That shows how disciplined this team is, and it was only for 10 yards. 7 touchdowns, 1 passing, 5 rushing, and of course the special teams touchdown by Locke. And then of course you can't forget the safety as well that added 2 more points. Meyer missed 1 field goal on the night. We had 6 3-and-outs forced by the defense of Wapak and 4 tackles for losses. Now it's time to give our Owens Kitchen and Bath player of the game, and that goes to who else? Number 23, Cameron Locke. The man was just on fire tonight, connecting on offense, defense, and special teams. He was everywhere, and he shows how valuable he is to this team. Looking ahead at the schedule for next week, Defiance will be home hosting St. Mary's, and of course that will be our featured game. And then we are on the road at OG, as Walpock will be at OG for the bonus game. Let's real quick thank our sponsors: Telephone Service Company, Minster Bank, G.A. Windsor and Son Company, Owens Kitchen and Bath Showroom, Frost Roofing, The United Way, Stolly Insurance, and the Wapakoneta Family YMCA. Once again, the final from Fred Brown Stadium, 50-0. For our camera operators, Nick Bailey, John Peak, our statistician, Rick Carlton, and producer, Todd Utrip, this is Eli Alvarez saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you in OG next week.